Legendary teams, major players, and electrifying tactical action are back in CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. From June 27th till July 4th, 10 teams will clash in the thrilling showdown for the prize pool of $100,000 and slots at the PGL Major Stockholm 2021. Who will win more rounds? Who will show the most furious play? And who will claim the major prize? Find out at the CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. And don't forget to reload.
Yes, welcome everybody to the StarLadder RMR. Excited to get this one started. I'm here with Vince. You're looking good in that shiny white shirt. What's up, brother?
Thank you very much. Likewise, it's great to see you again, Jason. Yeah, looking forward to some games, man. I'm looking forward to watching some of the biggest and brightest from the CIS region do battle, and obviously right up first is Gambit, #1 team on the planet, and they have been on a tear lately.
Yeah, they've been scary. They've been a tough team to watch. Very efficient, and obviously winning a lot of events recently. So yeah, undisputed #1 team, and these two teams have obviously met a number of times in the previous RMR as well. It's all going Gambit's way. So a really tough task for Nemiga coming in here today this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the David and Goliath battle if ever I've seen one. I mean, Gambit #1, Nemiga, I think they're in the 50s right now in terms of their world placing. So there is a massive discrepancy between the two teams. And also, as we just both touched on, when you look at the previous results, Gambit coming off the hot off the back of last Premier victory with Hobbit taking the MVP, Nemiga are struggling to beat some of the other CIS region teams. It's 9 wins in a row for Gambit as it stands, and the only time they get beat at the moment is against some of the top teams in the world.
Yeah, and here you can see the standings so far for this RMR. Navi down there in second place. That'll be one to keep our eye on. Obviously, I mean, a little bit interesting to see who's exactly at the top. It's Spirit, while Gambit and Virtus Pro are in 3rd and 4th respectively. And I don't know. I guess you'd kind of expect that to shift considering where the rankings are at the moment, just going by those numbers.
No, absolutely. I think come the end of this RMR, things will be quite a bit different. Obviously, there were some question marks in the recent past regarding the last one, so I'd expect that Gambit definitely leapfrog their way up. But we are also casting Spirit later today, and that could be another really interesting matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the thing is as well, Jason, the CIS region used to historically be an RMR or a minor that we weren't that interested in. It was normally the EU stuff, the NA, maybe even the Asian region that was more interesting. Well, now the CIS region is absolutely stacked with great teams.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere this year, didn't it? I think it was like Katowice, where everyone was saying it was the beginning of the CIS era. What was it? 3 of the 4 teams at that event were from the CIS region that were in the top 4. So I mean, they've been dominant. Obviously, Gambit still carrying the baton, and Navi's right there with them. Virtus Pro and Spirit still very scary teams as well. Very strong region, so some good Counter-Strike going to be coming up this week, and perhaps even with the explosion of teams like Gambit and Virtus Pro and Spirit this year, you can see some of the future talent that's on some of these other lineups. And these are the groups that you can see, Group A and Group B. It is going to be a best-of-3 round robin throughout the group stage before we get into the playoffs. So all these teams going to play each other. All these teams going to get a chance to take each other down, and we'll see who's standing at the end of the week.
Yeah, indeed. I would say the groups are fairly even. I mean, A obviously is a little bit more stacked in terms of Navi and Gambit being in the same group, but Group B definitely has a lot of banana peels, as you already touched on. You can't really escape playing against some of the biggest and brightest names and players that CS has to offer in an RMR that is this stacked. I do fear for teams like K23 and Akuma as well here that they probably won't be able to get too much done out of this, but when it comes to Counter-Strike, Jason, anything is possible. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes open and watching these games with a lot of joy.
That's what we're learning this year. The past year since we've ended online play, it's back to anything is possible, and soon we're going to transition off of that, and we'll see how exactly all these teams can shake up to their online performances, I guess I should say. You have it here, the schedule. Nemiga versus Gambit, that's going to be coming any moment now. And Tropic versus Team Spirit is going to be later on. There's also a secondary stream if you want to watch any of these matchups. That's going to be hosted and taken care of by Haka and Dinko. It's Fours versus Akuma for the morning game. The evening game is going to be Virtus Pro versus 100 PG. I say morning, but this is, you know, it's afternoon for you guys over in Europe. I think I'm the only morning person here today.
Yeah, I think for most people it is definitely getting on towards afternoon, but it's a really good time. I think it hits that nice sweet spot. Obviously, for you, it's a little bit of an earlier morning wake up. I can't think of a better way to start the day, Jason, with some awesome CIS action. So I'm pretty looking forward to getting into these games.
You need an imagination, Vince. That's what you need. Yeah, we are just kind of waiting for this game to go live. All 10 players are in the server. And since I don't actually believe we're going to have a graphic for the map veto process, we can just kind of bring it up of what transpired in that. First map is going to be Inferno. That was picked by Nemiga. Second map is going to be Vertigo. That is picked by Gambit. And the final map is going to be Dust 2. Nemiga, the team that banned out Ancient right at the get-go. And actually, I mean, this Inferno Vertigo as the opening 2 maps in the series is exactly how the last 2 matchups between these squads have gone. This is how the map veto's gone these last 2 times as well. So, I mean, both teams just kind of coming into this, nothing crazy. Probably at this point, not a whole lot you can do to trip up in the veto process in terms of changing things up. And both teams just happy to go with what they've done in the past, where Gambit's taken both those series wins 2-0.
Absolutely. I don't think there was anywhere realistically that Nemiga could come down here and necessarily threaten Gambit, where we come out of this saying, oh, Nemiga have absolutely won the picks and bans. I will say Dust 2 is maybe one of the banana fields for Gambit. They do sometimes struggle on the map. It's one of their lowest win percentages. And their last 2 losses, both factored Dust 2. They were narrow losses. But then you look at the teams they lost against, it was Na'Vi and Vitality. So it's a different breed compared to Nemiga. So I would definitely put a caveat next to that. Even when we say within the context of their map pool, it might be a little bit weaker, they're still one of the best on the world at playing it. So yeah, this is definitely a rough one for Nemiga coming into this matchup.
And I mean, even looking into kind of some of these previous matches between the 2 teams, I think I was relatively surprised to kind of see how close some of these games were. I mean, even the last Vertigo game they had, I think Nemiga had like an 11-8 lead at one point. So you feel like they're actually, some of these matchups, despite the fact that Gambit's won like the last 10 maps, you feel like 1 or 2 rounds goes the other way, and all of a sudden we could be talking about a different result, at least for one map. But one thing that Gambit, one intangible that Gambit has going for them right now is they just seem to be so comfortable and so confident with each other, even when they get into these dicey things later on in the game, down 2 or 3 rounds, you know, able to make that comeback happen and not panicking. So starting to show some real poise along with just incredible skill and incredible tactically. So yeah, this I don't know how you're feeling. I don't think anyone's going to be picking Nemiga. I don't think anyone's really going to be waving that flag. No, not at all, Vince.
No, I can't see it, man. I thought coming into this that it would be fairly comfortable for Gambit. I think if maybe Dust 2 was one of the opening 2 maps, maybe there was a way it could go 3 maps, but for me, it's probably going to go 2-0 to Gambit. There are some great players, though, on Nemiga as well. You have the likes of Idis Balance, who obviously was touted at one point as being one of those big AWPers from the CIS region. Never really got the consistency over on Spirit, and I think he was on Simon Gaming before that as well, where he set the world on fire. But now and again, he would just have this colossal performance where he would drop 30 or 40 frags on the map, and he absolutely would take over. So it's not that Nemiga don't have the tools to maybe make this close. It's just, as you said, Gambit has been that consistent and that damn good and well-rounded that I don't really see any weaknesses for this thing.
Well, that is, yeah, here's the head-to-head, and you can see not a whole lot of weaknesses that Nemiga's finding either. Although, like I said, a couple close games, especially in that previous one. And yeah, Inferno, Vertigo, 11-16, 12-16, even before that. As you can see, same thing. Even though it was a long time, well, not super long, but quite a ways in Counter-Strike time. 6-16 and 9-16 as well. So, you know, I guess Nemiga just saying we know what maps that Gambit is going to be comfortable to play us on. We know what map they're going to be comfortable picking. And again, you got a 3rd crack at it. And they do say that's the charm, Vince.
Yeah, 3rd time the charm. I do wonder as well, though, with Gambit, you know, at one point they would have been playing the likes of Nemiga on a regular basis, but they've had a meteoric rise in this last year. I wonder if focusing on all the top teams is just a point of a narrative here. Is possible, would they overlook a team like Nemiga? Have they done as much prep for this team? Is there a way maybe in that respect where Nemiga could slip in a couple of surprises?
Well, that would be the interesting thing, and then you have to kind of see what kind of confidence Nemiga's going to have to be able to come up with something new, kind of on the fly coming into this matchup. Or not so much on the fly; they've had a decent amount of time. I think that's the bigger thing is maybe if they've been changing and adapting something, yeah, Gambit might not have as much time as they'd like to look into it. But I mean, this is an RMR. This is a qualifier for the major, and as we just kind of talked about, and we can see from the standings that CIS region is pretty tight. The top 4 in the RMR rankings is very, very close. So I mean, you don't want to be one of the teams that misses out, down the stretch just because you overlooked one small game here. So I expect Gambit to come in and kind of be on point, and if not, I expect them to find a way to get on point as the match goes on, as it builds into it. So for me, I can't imagine Gambit having too many issues today.
Yeah, especially as they're starting off on Inferno, which they've won. They've played 9 times. They've won it 8 times out of that, and their one loss was to Heroic back in April, and that was in double overtime. And there's a lot of top-heavy scores here as well. They've only gone into double digits, the opposition, 3 times in the last few months. Yeah. So for the most part, it's like 16-6s, 16-5s. I think in terms of like the first map to go against on Gambit, like this is probably one of the hardest ones that you'll actually be facing them on. So it could be a bloodbath to start things off.
Yeah, the map pool is just really tough. Oh, here's that big fan phase. See, I didn't know we were gonna have this, but in the future, I will refrain from spoiling. The Ancient ban, the Nuke ban coming in, nothing crazy. Gambit's map pool is just like so dominant, and I mean, even the ones where like percentage-wise they look a little bit shaky. Like you said, they've been playing, a different level of competition than Nemiga. But what we end on with Inferno and Vertigo is actually their top 2 maps. It's like a 92% win rate and an 89% win rate on Vertigo and Inferno respectively. So it's kind of hard when there's this much of a disparity between the rankings to kind of call this a bad veto. Obviously, there's something in these maps, or at least something in Inferno, that Nemiga sees that they can take advantage of, and it's up to them to see if they can do it here, or prove it here, with this 3rd time they're playing in these 2 maps.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a really key point. It's a really good point to raise as well, that there's a lot of opportunities now for some of these teams. Yes, it's a super stacked tournament, but that means there's more eyes on you as well to show the world what you're capable of doing, to get that consistency and potentially cause a massive upset in the very first game. Thus, too, as we said before, being that 3rd map could very well, if it goes to a 3rd map, be an interesting one with Idis Balance, factoring up against the likes of Shiro. But I'm also curious to pick your brains a little bit here, Jason, on the whole Ancient situation currently. Obviously, with Train being removed, that's going to be a potential intrigue with some of these teams that did definitely factor on Train. Train, of course, historically is a map that the CIS region did like to play quite a bit. Now, Nemiga banned it first, so they didn't even want to float it. They didn't even want to come up with the idea that maybe Gambit might slip on that map. So that's kind of terrifying as well.
Yeah, well, they also banned Train before that, so I'm assuming they're at the point right now where they're just like, why even worry about learning a whole new map? They've got kind of their 6-map pool that they had even before this swap came in, and they just don't want to mess with Ancient at the moment. It'll be interesting to see which teams kind of change their tactic and try to start kind of learning that map. Especially, remember, I think we'll see more teams like Nemiga picking up Ancient as we go, as the top teams are playing it more. Because I mean, when you are like kind of tier 2 or tier 3, or you're a team in like ranked 50th, let's say, trying to make a rise up, you are kind of picking and stealing and snacking a few of the ideas that the best teams in the world have, and trying to kind of adapt it for yourself. So the more that this gets played by the top teams, we're going to see it adopted by more and more teams as we go. I personally am excited to see Ancient come in. I had a good time learning that map in some matchmaking games with the likes of Sponge and Machine, and now I need to forget all of the silly callouts that we used in those games and start learning the professional callouts myself.
Yes, that's always the potential slip-ups when you come to a new map. It's like, is this the right call? And then there's the whole NA/EU thing, where certain calls are from NA, certain calls are from EU. It gets a bit confusing, but yeah, it's a great map to cast, actually. I do really like it. You come down on the favorable side with Ancient as well? Are you looking forward to what that has in store?
Yeah, the more I played it, the more I started to enjoy it, which makes sense. I actually haven't played it since some of the changes came in. I've ran through it a little bit, but I haven't actually played the map since those swaps and those map changes. But yeah, I like it. I think it's great. I think it's cool. And we've been missing like a jungle map, I feel like, for a while, for decades since Aztec went out.
Yeah, it definitely has a similar sort of feel, vibe, and color scheme to Aztec. It definitely is a hard shot of nostalgia. I quite like the setup of the map as well. There's quite a bit going on. A lot of mid control. Obviously, you got the catwalk area as well, which affords both teams to play pretty aggressively. I'm always a big fan of maps where the CTs actually sometimes need to play
Promoted
aggro
to be
take certain
aggressive.
maps. Exactly,
Yeah.
not just sitting back and waiting the whole round. So that's definitely a breath of fresh air for me as well.
Seems like at the moment it could be a lurker's paradise. I'm excited to see some more games on it out of the ones that I watched just previously. Gambit versus Nemiga, Inferno. We're going to be going live. The countdown is happening into the pistol round. So enough talk about Ancient. We'll be coming back to that in the future.
Indeed, we shall. The teams have knifed. They are ready to go. Gambit starting on the CT side, Nemiga over on the T side of the map. And we are kicking things off with a bang. A lot of aggression down middle already for Nemiga. Actually pushing 4 players in. And Stars just removed the head instantly of Jiro. All the kills are going the way, though, of Nemiga as they batter it down. Hobbit last man standing. He can do little but sit in banana and hope for the best.
Well, that was quick, and that is how you like to open it up. That's kind of that's like a statement pissed around from are they reversed from Gambit? Yeah, pushing down middle. That is that's one of those things where you want to kind of set the tone early, and obviously it gets slapped back. So good focus by Nemiga as they control the situation very well. Pissed around is going to go their way also.
Now, we were talking about the idea of being just absolutely bulldozed over from the Nemiga's perspective. That's one hell of a way to plant the flag down and state a bit of declaration of intent. Pop coming down, definitely a player to watch out for as well. On the side of Nemiga, headshot splatters Hobbit. Nemiga do claim the first blood.
I'm not going to lie. I was not ready for that whatsoever. So well done. 1-0, and you're going to see the second round buys come in as Gambit going for all the armor, the pistols, the utility as well. Going to compete for this second round.
Yeah, leaves nothing in surplus for Gambit should things go awry. Does give them plenty of firepower, though, to potentially cause a few issues here. Nemiga, though, slowing things down, not getting too aggressive, just taking slow banana control. 3 players from Gambit are positioned over here for the time being. Unfortunate, though, that Geogas his nade blocked, but no real harm or foul.
No, yeah, that is unfortunate. And you're right, no lasting damage, box down to 73, but they've got banana control at least for the moment. And Gambit's also pulled a 3rd player over just to see if there's going to be any continuing aggression, and they might have just cold read this tactic. 3 players here using smokes to delay, and Nemiga isn't doing anything on the other side of the map. Axile over in pit has heard nothing, no information, so they're confident to still stay in this 3-man stack of B.
You can see that Nemiga are dipping their toe in the pool, but it doesn't seem like they've realized what's coming up just yet. More smokes being deployed. One pot in counteraction by Gambit will keep Nemiga at arm's reach, but they are still sat in banana, and with no one posted up in apps for an early, quick flank. This suggests that Nemiga have bit down hard on this B site. More smokes now coming into play, and Gambit are waiting. Everything potentially falling in their favor. Now, at least they haven't traded off the 4 players. Now the execution comes in. The flashes are on the boost, though. Posted up on the boost spot. Couldn't see a single thing. Was flashed out multiple times. Now, Infinite had to put that deagle to use, but it's the same result with Nemiga getting the job done. They didn't lose a single player in the first round, and it doesn't look likely they'll lose one here either.
No, that was great. That was very efficient, especially going into that stack. Utility's got to be on point, and you could see the timing, the way they staggered those flashbangs. Hobbit up on the boost, had no way to get involved, completely blind, so no crossfire actually gets sprung, and a nice easy one. Well, not easy, but a nice win for Nemiga. They're going to be up 2-0, and like you said, not losing anyone so far. Going to be flush with cash as well, and Gambit's going to try and get away with these 2 deagles and try it again with what they've got in the next round, but should be a little bit of a breathing round for Nemiga.
Yeah, this is really where they can just extend the leads. They only have transitory be able to farm out too much cash, but with these 2 players saving in the form of Axile and Shiro with their deagles and a bit of Kevlar, they're still not 100% across the finish line here, Nemiga. And against a team like Gambit, you can never fully take your eye off the prize. So be interesting to see what they do here. But yeah, as you say, absolutely a great opportunity now to build up a bunch of cash, get that confidence, get their feet planted firmly, and that foundation built up on Inferno T side.
Yeah, I like this. I'd really like to see them put some pressure onto Gambit early on in this game. Just go on a bit of a streak here. If they can win that first gun round and actually have the lead, that would make things very interesting. Little shot from Exile to see if he can just grab a head real quickly and disappear, but not able to get away. The MAC-10 rings out and an opening kill for Box.
Oh, and he's just continuing to press W. He wants to rush in, get as much carnage as possible into stuff in the graveyard. May very well be to his detriment. May get the drop, but it's the USP, so has to be absolutely precise with it. You're watching the back. Does get splattered by Shiro. The first kill that Gambit have accrued for themselves, but the AK or assault rifle, I think it's just out of reach here, Jason, so I don't think they can grab onto this without too much danger. And yeah, that's the issue. Hobbit overextends and he gets punished. So kind of goes the way we're expecting. The 3-0 start has came up. And this is great news for Nemiga, because now Gambit's next buy is going to be solid, but you're getting into that position already with the CTs where you know you're going to have to win out 3 or 4 rounds pretty easily and comfortably before you start to settle yourself.
Still early, yeah, still early for Gambit, so I mean, no need to panic, but you're right. This lead does mean that Gambit's going to have to chip away at it. That's a nice round for Nemiga, picking up the pace, letting that MAC-10 just clear out the bomb site, clear out pit, using the sound to flush any defenders into the open, and he even transfers and converts into the Galil right at the end of the round, so it doesn't have to spend any money on picking up a rifle. 3-0 for Nemiga. Nades out early. Not an aggressive banana control, but the nades might suggest it to the defense, and there's a follow-up Molotov as Jo takes control, and back to A. They're going to try and take mid on a timing, it looks like, pretty quick.
That smoke, though, may very well slow things down. Just temper this aggression. Perhaps not. Nemiga still pushed through. Nafani, other side of the smoke, has to try and rotate. Wrap around into flash multiple times. Still on the back box. No, spray is good for 2, and it could be more. Great hold from Gambit, and it will be a flawless hold. Not a single casualty has dropped. Just what Gambit were looking for.
That's a great call, I think, from Nemiga, actually, on the strategy. I think they had everything they wanted and some small mistakes. 2 players turn left into the bomb site, and no one clears out the corner box. No one even checks for it. Gambit's able to get away with one. They go real passive, and once all the flashbangs wear off, they got some easy double kills lined up. 3-1 as Gambit get on the board first, and the second part of that disaster for Nemiga is they didn't actually get any kills. So money builds up for Gambit. Economic pressure that they could have applied now goes away, fades just a little bit.
Nice little touch there on the HUD. You see that iDisbalance and Geo are both down into red, below $1,000. So the impact is felt and reverberates quickly. Smoke down, similar situation, almost an identical play to the last round. Smoked out, but still pushed through. Exile, slightly different angle this time, down in graveyard. Inters in the exact same position behind the box, but this time Nemiga don't decide to pressure too aggressively. They are tempering it a little bit more, but have a look at the damage that they've already dealt with here, Jason. Lollipop is wrecked down to 12. Geo and iDisbalance have already taken a bit of shrapnel as well.
Yeah, this was Deja Vu to start it out. That's a big kill, because it's not necessarily the damage, Vince. It's the utility that Nemiga don't have. They use so much to get that initial mid control and pressure towards lane and show the same tactic. Now they don't have a lot to work with. But a 5-on-4, they can slow things down. They can make it nervous, and they're going to try and walk in contact and trade their way into the bomb site. Inter's got to hold on for one more, and he can't do it. A retake on the cards for Gambit, and they just call it off immediately.
Oh, I was just beginning to believe that Inters was going to line them all up and clutch that round out by himself. As you highlight, though, a save is forthcoming. So Gambit, 1 and done. Looked so good in the previous round, but all the credit to Nemiga. It was a similar kind of idea, but with very little utility. They still got the job done. Their entries are on point, and iDisbalance, one of those players that we said to watch out for. He's had a great start so far to the server.
Yeah, that was cool. Even the decision to slow it down, while dangerous, you force so much utility out of the Gambit defense on that bomb site, because in their head, they're thinking same strat we just saw. They're going to be pushing up lane any second. They use a lot of counter nades. Both teams kind of running low on utility when that essentially that contact play on Rap side came in. So nicely done from Nemiga to get it right back. Look at Lollipop, 114 ADR in the early stages of the first third of this half.
Can't argue with those stats. It's these entries from Idis Balance that opened up arches and a valiant last stand from Inters, as you can see on the replay. We're back into the live action with the saved guns. Gambit have scraped together a purchase, a bit better than I was anticipating, and plenty of utilities. They absolutely could bounce right back in here.
Jo just backing away again. It's fast mid pressure. They're up already, and Nafany caught off guard. The pace is incredible. Good counter flash. Exile's got one. Inters can't hold on, and Exile with the second kill is going to leave this for a 3-on-3 as he backs away and waits for his teammates to arrive. Bomb goes down, but I mean, there's a smoke. There's 2 Molotovs on the Nemiga side. This is going to be tough for them to get back in. Utility can delay this retake for quite some time.
Whereas in the previous round, they pulled the plug and got out of there. This is a much more winnable situation. Plus, they want to try and impose their will where they can, but Exile shredded down by MDS, re-attaining and reassessing that app's control. Shiro gets aggressive, slight off angle, but MDS comes out second best. The time, though, is ticked away so very quickly that Gambit are looking for exits at this point. The round is done. Incendiary to the back of the pit may actually yield a kill here to if not definitely. It does, it gets both of them. So although they lose the round, it's a nice effort from Gambit in the end, but it's still 5-1.
Yeah, and even those 2 kills, that they're nice, right? You get some economic damage out of it, but you know there's still going to be a full buy into the next round. So those 2 kills right for the bomb at the end only come into play if Gambit's able to win this round right here. Full buy for Nemiga, and Gambit playing it safe, backing off in a 2-on-2 retake so that they can have a solid buy here. I mean, all things considered, this is another full buy for Gambit. AWP, they've got plenty of utility across the team, and Idis Balance looking for an early peek. That's not going to come in, and nades at the corner are going to allow Jo to make his way up the half wall if he wants it.
See as well, though, that Gambit have certainly started to respect that mid prowess. We've seen Nemiga go for this multiple times. 3 plays here. A lot of utility's already been expended over middle. Now Hobbit will be smoked off. Both the CTs will not be factoring on the site itself. No way for Nemiga to know this. They've been slowed down by a smoke tossed in. So they will start to back away. Still plenty of time in the round. Most of these rounds have been lightning fast as well, Moses. So maybe that's one of the reasons why the Gambit now are a bit antsy on that rotation.
Well, yeah, that, and they normally aren't hearing these footsteps right at the corner, but also they know they've used a lot of smoke. There's not a whole lot more smokes left. So they're assuming the hit at the B bomb site was going to come in right as that smoke cleared. The AWP uses the Molotov to get into the bomb site. That's Shiro, who's got an off angle. Here it comes, the full exec, and Nafany's up top. Shiro with the first, and they've already got him wide. He's pinned down, but it doesn't matter. Great crossfires from Gambit, great protocols, and this hit goes nowhere.
Such a beautiful hold by Shiro and that AWP. They're not sure if they're getting rotated on and flanked from behind, so MDS and Idis Balance turn their attention towards middle. If they were to push A, could effectively put them down into a 2-on-2, albeit briefly because Nafani's moving in, but no. They have other ideas. They're going to save. They have the AWP, they have the AK. This is going to significantly hurt their economy, though, going forward. And though Gambit had a real rough patch, and keep in mind, as I said before, a lot of their wins on Inferno have been like 16-5, 16-6s. The fact that Nemiga posted up 5 this quickly on the T side is very impressive, but this could be the moment where Gambit just start to swarm them.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. I mean, the last time these 2 teams played just recently was Inferno and Vertigo, and obviously before that it was all the way back to January. But that was Inferno and Vertigo. But that was so long ago, you can kind of throw it out. But that previous matchup is certainly Nemiga saying, "Let's take a look at this Inferno. Let's take a look at what we had success with. Let's take a look at what we failed at, and let's see if we can come up with a game plan and change a few things." And right now, yeah, that early aggression to get up mid and apply pressure to that A bomb site was huge. This time, I think this previous round telegraphed a little bit because they made a lot of noise in Banana. They let them know they were at the corner, and Gambit was able to rotate that third AWP in Shiro. Previously on Rap side, they brought him over to B at just the right moment.
Funny, the timing, the flashbang is so good, and that spray transfer is up to the task. Double spray looking great. Both the weapons that were saved, though, are still available, including the AWP. Oh, Gambit should tread lightly. Banana control, though, has by and large been established. They forced away Nemiga towards middle.
That's really well done from Nafany and Hobbit over at the B bomb site. A nice pop flash to make that work. All that's left now, kind of lurking up middle, but you're going to walk right into the AWP, and you don't want to use your utility. I think Shiro saw an elbow there. I think he knows what's coming. Transferring over, and there's the whole body. 5-on-2 scenario for Gambit. It's looking like they're going to get their third on the board. And finally, Vince, this is where those 2 kills and by the bomb a few rounds back comes into play. This is where Gambit choosing to save in some of those 2-on-2 retakes, those 2-on-3 retakes comes into play. They've been able to keep up solid buys throughout this losing streak, and now they're going to take control, and now they've got money as well.
Yeah, that's a really great point, because it's easy for us to see the score and see how things are going and how much of a favorite Gambit is, and to kind of take your eye off the ball. But even in the rounds they were losing, they actually had a really good management, as you said, of saving weapons, knowing when their limitations have been breached, not getting too aggressive, not getting carried away. And as you said, the bigger picture now has caught up. Now, this forces Nemiga into their second consecutive save, and it will be the same 2 weapons that will move through into the next round. So at least they will consistently have some threats on the board. But Gambit, the world of good, their accountant's going to be very happy, because their money is now getting very nice and juicy indeed. All 5 players around the $5,000 mark or above. So they're looking good.
And all 3 rounds that Gambit has won, all 5 players have survived. So money's grown real quick. AWP on a disbalance, and the AK4. Are we doing disbalance or I disbalance? What is the general consensus here, Vince? As you've been casting more.
I've always denied this balance personally,
okay,
but I could be wrong. It's definitely possible.
An Apple fan, aren't you? Banana control for Box and JO, but as you said earlier, 2 saved weapons and some pistols and armor. Light on utility as well. Molotov is going to force a smoke to be used at the car at the top of Banana, so even more utility taken away from Nemiga that they won't have available once a hit comes in. They've got 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and a molly to use, and that feels like B's the only real option. They might just have to wait this smoke out and hope maybe Lollipop can provide an opening by getting a pick on the other side of the map, but it looks like his plan is to just lurk in those A apartments.
Force grenade could be huge. Lands on both MDS and Geo. Ton of damage between the 2 of them, about 80 in total. Incendiary down. They're finding the same position where Shiro wreaked havoc and terror, but it's Idis balance on the other side of the AWP that it's going to be laying waste to the defenses. It's now all drop smokes beginning to clear over on the coffin side, but there's an incendiary there to keep Shiro at bay. For the fort retake, the weapon advantage certainly in favor of Gambit, but another body's hit the floor, and now the flank comes into effect, and it's the AK-wielding Lollipop who does have Kevlar behind it. So in a round that Nemiga looked like they had no business getting even close into, this could be a W. Lollipop has the deep on 2 players, whiffs out in the second spray, but MDS has done enough with the Deagle to put this down into just Shiro. I say just Shiro, the guy is incredibly talented, but he can't wind back time. The bomb is about to detonate, and a successful T side for Nemiga against the odds.
That's great. That is really good work on that hit, even with the low utility that we kind of touched on. Well done. And again, I mean, Gambit, it's kind of crazy because Gambit's actually finding the read. They know when the B bomb site is going to be the target. They've pretty much successfully rotated 3 players over to that bomb site every time Nemiga has been able to, or been hitting it. But this time it's 1 player goes down in the bomb site and no one there to trade, no one there to have a crossfire. And Nemiga steal one away. 6-3. But still, by virtue of winning some very solid rounds, Gambit's got good money if they can get back on the horse, the winning horse right now.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. Momentum certainly was starting to shift in Gambit's favor. Nemiga, though, now sacrificed you to the CS gods, and it's Nafani that collects. He has been isolated, though, from Molotovs, but incendiary toss back in return. That could buy him up a little bit of time, and it's actually a smoke down from Nemiga. It stops them from getting peaked, but it also locks off Banana. They have to just give it up now.
It makes it so costly that they just had 4 players in Banana for that long, trading utility back and forth, and then to gain nothing from it. In fact, you've just lost 1 player, and you've ceded control of that part of the map over to the defense. Shiro's going to back away. Straight angle from the bomb site. Good kill from Exile, and this is a slaughter. No progress for Nemiga, and Box he's got nothing to do.
Yeah, he's on an exit fragging mission right now. See if he can inflict a little bit of pain and misery on his way out. But all of his teammates fell down, and I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That banana control going so horribly wrong for Nemiga. Felt like that was one of the last nails being put into the coffin. There is the final one being hammered in by Hobbit. It's another clean sweep round for Gambit. 4-6, though. They still trail by 2.
Words can't even really describe how much it sucks to put 4 players in banana early on and get nothing from it. You just feel like you've lost so much. 6-4, and a timeout going to be called by Nemiga. They're sitting with 5 Glocks at the moment. I think this is one of the rare moments we're going to have to see largely just a full-blown save from at least 2 to 3 of the players on the team. Going to be getting $1,900 losing bonus. So even next round, they're not going to be feeling super comfortable with what they've got to work with. In that case, we might see more of an investment and a double save out of the Nemiga side. That would allow Gambit to tie things up.
Yeah, double save on the T side is definitely a bitter pill to swallow, especially after such a lightning start that Nemiga had for themselves. But they are deliberating over this decision. They've decided actually to go in for a force here. So it's going to be Tech 9s and some Deagles to facilitate not going in for that double save, which, I mean, it is such a distressing situation to be on for the T side, knowing that you're effectively giving across tons of cash and potentially rounds to the opposition. And when it's Gambit, maybe you feel compelled to just snatch into any possibility and opportunity that you can get your hands onto.
So they are going for the force buy. Just due to the losing bonus that they didn't have built up. Might as well buy here. 2 rounds ahead. The nice thing is, one thing we talked about coming into this match in the pregame was how kind of poised we'd seen Gambit in some sketchy moments throughout their games, throughout their run of becoming the best team in the world. And you saw it again here, just a little bit earlier in the game when they have pressure put on them early, when they're losing the economic battle, when they're down, by 4 rounds at one stage. I mean, they're still saving. They're still pulling away the AWP and the M4. They're not trying to go for any heroic retakes, just saving the weapons and knowing it'll give them a lot to work with in the future. Good trade. Oh, that's a great shot. 1 Deke as Nathany's falling, and all of a sudden, Vince, at this B-bomb site on a low buy round is causing Gambit problems.
Well, you just mentioned about scrappy rounds and somehow making them work out. This is the 3v3 that they would have never expected. And 2 rifles have now traded hands into armor, albeit on weakened adversaries. Axel pushing up, gets 1 digged out of his boots, and now there's every opportunity that this clutch could come in. Nemiga could be taking control again of the map. Into smoked and flashed out of position. Still has a bit of time on the clock, but has to get a move on. And I don't think he's got it anyway. Incendiaries are going to force him out. He picks up the AWP, he pieces out of there. So Nemiga, with a force buy of Deagles and Tech 9s, rush B site and get their 7th round.
Straight out of the tack pause. That is a big win for Nemiga. 7-4, and again, we'll see if Gambit can still kind of keep their composure, because they're gonna be in a very similar situation, down a few rounds, economically hampered. They've got 4 players below $500. It's a tough place to be in. So Gambit going to try and pull one away again. And even Jo, look at him. He's got the Mac 10. So I don't know if they're misreading the economy or if he just wants to be hyper aggressive and just create some space. He's got that early banana spawn. We'll see what it can do. Very fast moving around these corners. If there was going to be a defense mounted, that Mac 10 can sometimes pull off some magic. And at the moment, he's just a scout. And Gambit, they're going to bite on it. They put out a smoke early.
Yeah, precisely. He was a scout with elephant's footsteps in the background, and that forced out the early smoke. They're trying to just whittle away as much utility as possible. Still tons of time left. A smoke on the front of the fight and a flash behind it. Hobbit caught out of position, but that smoke actually comes to his rescue. Can now post up, big headshot off the back of some huge performances, but there is the Mac 10. The aforementioned SMG menace that sprayed through him. But finally at the back of the site can only yield 1 frag as he runs out of ammunition. And as his magazine runs dry, so does his HP bar. Another 3-on-3 post plant on the B site. And Gambit's still stuck behind utility.
Oh, this is getting really scrappy. The entrance coming through the smoke. Enters, goes down. MDS with 1. And a 2-on-2 into the post plant. Flashbang to get him around the corner. Axel going to take a peek. And even though JO's blind, he's got the kill anyways. And now they can just play time. They know it's an op. They know it's unwieldy. And Shiro's just going to go for some exit kills, but Nemiga's got 8.
And that'll be all she wrote here, Jason. That's going to be 8-4 lead for Nemiga. Who saw this one coming?
I'd like to say I did, but I didn't. Good trade here from Jo to get him into the bomb site. And there it is again. Blind, maybe not full blind, but certainly hampered a little bit. 4-round lead, and the only thing Gambit has to work with at the moment is that AWP. Hobbit's picked up a CZ for you guys over there. And just the 3 USPs as they save up to get as much utility with the rifles in the next round.
This being the previous round, but into the present. Shiro's aforementioned AWP is really the last bastion of hope for Gambit. He is playing B site all by his lonesome. Understandably, Nemiga have put their crosshair on this side of the map time after time. Obviously, feel like this is the weakness and the vulnerability, and so far they've been proven to be correct. And Shiro gets finished off by Jo, who is boosted up on the half wall. And with Shiro's life being deemed forfeit, well, that's business open on B site again.
Yeah, no fear. And I mean, that's a decent risk to take. You can see how well they baited Jo there, just in case there was a stack behind that AWP, but nothing at the B bomb site. So USP is going to push down middle from Gambit, set up to perhaps try and get some guns on the exit, and that's going to be a tough ask as well. No chance at recovering that AWP unless Nemiga brings him a gift. But, you know, this is at least what we wanted, Vince. At least seeing Nemiga put on that pressure early. We saw Gambit kind of rise to the occasion, but I mean, Nemiga not giving up. Now starting to really extend this lead. And down the stretch of this game in the last, 2 rounds that we're going to have, it's all about Gambit staying within striking distance.
Oh, absolutely. This really puts it into a very interesting position. As we say, it's not even about we make this a close half. It's just, can we get within arm's reach? Well, he popped through the smoke onto Nafani, will deal the fatal blow, but it's going to be another buy seemingly from Gambit as they dip in with the early AWP, puts them down to a FAMAS. There's a couple players that, if they prioritize firepower, may have a lack of utility. They have managed to scrape together a decent purchase, but there won't be a single kit between the 5 of them. Oh, there will. Hobbit just picks it up in the dying embers. They have the one kit between 5.
Just to really make you feel uncomfortable about that, just as you say it. It's a classic.
In the knife.
Those pesky players. All right, banana control. Pretty standard. Jo thought he found a safe spot between the Molotov, but a well-placed nade brings him down to 8, and he's gonna go for it anyways. Blinded, he's got a double kill. 8 HP, fantastic flashbang from MDS, fantastic communication between those two. And now Gambit really has to decide exactly how they want to rotate, and they're gonna call the save immediately, but damn, that is a nice play from Jo.
Oh, that flash. The MVP of the round for sure. Just absolutely ravaged the 2 top banana players. Neither of them playing anti-flash, anticipating that push very well could come in. And Jo, who typically has been playing very aggressively with like the MAC-10s, the Galils in previous round, well, this time he was up first with the AK. Managed to find that island beneath the liquid fire of the Molotovs and the HEs that were flying past him. And in this save, Nemiga want to go for it. They're going to have more than enough money for a purchase into the next round. Whatever happens here is completely worthwhile to throw 1 or 2 bodies in if they can even take 1 player down with them. And Axile is that man to fall. Now, if they could get Shiro's AWP, that would be the cherry on top. Intersto, locking it down for his teammate. And it seems like they have done enough to retain the FAMAS and the AWP, but it's at the cost of 10th round for Nemiga.
Yeah, I think that chase at the end got a little bit sloppy. They could have sent, all 5 players at him. They had plenty of money to buy up again, just taking a lot of losses early on trying to hunt down those weapons, but it's okay. 10-4 lead, and this is the cherry on top. 10-5 is like, it's doable. 11-4 doesn't feel great if you're Gambit. Obviously. So this time, not a whole lot of banana control. Box is going to stay far back, toss out some utility to maintain some presence. Molotov and smoke to deny information. But Hobbit's already rotating over to the A bomb site, and here we are, round 15. We haven't seen this yet. It's going to be a Hulls pop. Nemiga's going to see if they can catch Gambit sleeping. This A defense hasn't been tested in a while, it feels. But Nemiga even then just calls it off. 3 players coming up those stairs. They get control of the A halls and back away and readjust.
flirting with the idea of A, but it is back to the tried and tested as the bomb starts to move back over on Banana. They are just keeping Box at the top of Banana to keep that pressure applied. And
Feels like they've had a couple.
Coming.
It feels like they've had a couple of ideas that have been called off here or there by a player sensing something on the map, and they've gone back, I think, Vince, to that Hulls pop. 3 players going up, 2 players coming mid.
Certainly are, but look at what this is having impact-wise. Now, Inters has moved away. Flashbang is good. The utility from the Nemiga has been on point this entire game. The counter flash is there as well. And now Axile, with the MP9 of all weapons, has held it down by himself. 2 players fall to his wake. Nafani getting in between 2 players. No idea as to Idis Balance current position. Now he'll find in the barrel of the gun, betraying the AWPer over on the Nemiga. 2v4, and it's not even a post plant just yet. Geo still needs to put the bomb down, and in doing so, it'll be a momentary 1v4. However, they won't get pushed through the smoke. The utility is there to afford them a safety net. Box is watching, knows he may have to get a bit aggressive here. Try something a bit crazy, a bit wacky. And Box has his teammate bodyguarded. Hobbit so nearly picked off the first player in the form of Geo. He's now stuck at the back of the site. This is actually a winnable round though for me, but not anymore. I was about to say if they can get that crossfire in, but the 2 of them lose their heads, and it will be a 10-5 halftime score.
That's such a great sacrifice play from Hobbit with the SMG, getting the 1 flashbang just to try and make his way into the bomb site. Almost had that kill, but even his death gives away the position of both players, make things a little bit easier for Gambit to pin down the 1 player in pit, pin down the player in the bomb site, obviously low on HP, and grab a 5th round. That's a nice first half from Nemiga. 10-5 as they switch over to the defense.
I see from the players' perspectives right now. Is my feed just... Oh, no. It was just he hadn't moved an inch there, Jason. I got caught off. I thought my feed had froze, but he was just statuesque.
He was
deep
so
in
focused.
Thought.
So into it. Well...
Pretty calm.
Yeah, I didn't expect this one. I thought that was a very, very cool half from Nemiga. They opened it up very well. This play from Axile is so nice. As he drops off, the attacking side in that Hulls pop need that kill, and him actually tucking underneath the balcony in that fashion buys him so much time to get unblind. Actually, I think the 2nd or 3rd flashman that came over from Gambit from Jo blinded those attackers as well, and he just gets a nice double kill with the SMG. But a good TF, a good offensive and attacking side from Nemiga. They were able to exploit both bomb sites, and we'll see what Gambit's got for this second half.
Oh, it was an excellent, pristine first half for Nemiga. Gambit will be disappointed, but they have every chance now to turn their fortunes round. And Shiro, passing the bullet through Box's head, gives them some banana control. Lollipop took a few speculative shots, can relay that information to the rest of his teammates, and it looks like that extra player of MDS will be rotating from A towards B. So they're trying to bolster up their defenses. So it all comes down to timing now, though. Can MDS get close enough by the time that Gambit pull the trigger? Or will they decide to actually back off? Because there is Hobbit. There's the snake in the grass, but Hollipop goes in for the peak, takes off the head of Nafani, and in doing so can actually fall back to the site. So he's put this round back into an interesting position.
Yeah, but Gambit have the right call. They're just going to keep moving up onto the same bomb site. It's only Lollipop. So what else does he have? I'm pretty sure him and Hobbit spotted each other, know each other are there. Lollipop, now here's the footsteps. There's the peek. Doesn't land the shot. He's got it. He's got the quick headshot and the follow-up onto Hobbit. That is great work. He's given his team a chance. A 3-on-2 post plan.
A chance is maybe all they need. And my goodness, the Gambit know the importance of this round. This would be second pistol being lost. Inters gets caught in rotation. Shiro now has to pivot in for a huge clutch. It 1 headshot, but that's all he will reap. And enough time for the defuse for the CTs. A bit of a nightmare situation here, Jason, considering that start. You expected Gambit to do everything in their power to convert, and yet now Nemiga have a golden opportunity to steamroll away with this map.
Yeah, you got to have to imagine Box is just reaching over and giving his buddy Lollipop a nice fist bump after this round. He saved the day. The equalizer there down mid, and this is some incredible stuff. Hobbit not able to recover after landing in the pit and take a clean fight. But with the plant, another tough second round. Gambit's going to have the 3 rifles, 2 Galils and AK-47, Deagles with utility, mostly SMGs for Nemiga with the 1 M4. But if you're Nemiga in this situation, you obviously have to know this buy is coming after that plant.
Oh, yeah. They'll have a good idea as to what's coming up. It does put a bit more pressure on this round as well, knowing that if they can successfully repel this round, then Gambit would be into a really awkward position. So a lot of pressure still. A fulcrum point potentially in this map. If Nemiga do concede, and Hobbit removing the head of Lollipop, the hero from the previous round, well, he's been put in his final resting place.
That was a battle. That was the exact fight I thought was going to come out in the pistol round. It seemed like Hobbit and Lollipop were dancing around that engagement for some time with the pistols, and this time, obviously, Hobbit winning it out. That's a late spot, but a shallow Molotov keeps the Gambit attack from moving forward. We'll see how much they respect this smoke, though. They've got 4 players here in a 5-on-4. They might just go through it. Exile, he's leaning into the smoke. He's got a one-way over towards Coffins, and he's not seeing anything.
Nothing forthcoming yet in terms of information, but that will be afforded to them momentarily, because now the explosion of grenades, the flash is good. They didn't have another smoke for the cross, so they needed that to be perfectly placed. And with the bomb carrier going across first, that affords them a bit of luxury, but Gio's going to try and take this round away. All he'll find, though, is Exile with a Galil, and that will be more than good enough to deal with his threat. 3v5. Nemiga's economy, keep in mind, still not great, of course, as we're in the early stages of the second half, so they may very well pull the plug and try and save these weapons. But it feels like Box may be too far committed at this stage. He may not be afforded the chance to get out. He does just nip out of there in time. So Nemiga will concede the round, which is great news for Gambit, but there's still 3 threats on the server.
Yeah, that was a really good round from Gambit. Maybe a little bit misplayed from Nemiga. Pretty much every fight that Gambit got was advantageous towards the rifles, which, I mean, Nemiga had to have known were going to come out. The battle, the headshot angle with Hobbit, over towards the B-bomb. You had Exile with that one-way towards Coffins. You had them turning the corner, the SMG from Coffin over towards First Oranges. Not a fun fight versus a rifle. And Gambit was able to just kind of bully their way to the bomb site by virtue of better weaponry. Good opening kill from Hobbit here as Lollipop goes down. And it's 6-11. Just a 5-round deficit now for the Gambit attack.
Those 3 saved guns do afford Nemiga the opportunity to go in and buy behind them. It will be 4 SMGs, though, and just the 1 rifle. Not too much in terms of utility, but enough to actually fend off. 5 smokes is great news for a map like Inferno. 2 incendiaries, not too shabby either. So Gambit's certainly not out of the woods just yet. But they have positioned themselves into a good spot to at least close the gap really quickly. Almost as if they were to be successful in this round. Nemiga surely would have very little to play with.
We'll see if they can do it. Yeah, this could be a really nice uppercut to get Gambit into this game. Not only the win, but then you're just 4 rounds behind and you have all the economic control, especially against the CT side, which can be tough. Hobbit's got a good position in Boiler. Clearing out his angles. 4-man stack from Nemiga at brackets in mid. They would like to find an early engagement here. They're crossing their fingers. They're hoping Gambit actually attacks this position. And this time the SMGs at these close-up angles can do a little bit more work.
Ooh, bit delayed on the smoke. So Lollipop takes damage and also has to fall out of there. So Gambit just...
Sorry, that's also the signal that there was some kind of a mid-stack, and Gambit does not want to mess with that. So, I mean, once you realize someone's burning underneath the porch, you know, there's more than one player there, so Gambit just backs away.
And to be fair to Nemiga, they've actually read that as well. They're a step ahead of Gambit because they took those 2 players that had stacked A and they've pushed them towards the B side. The timing, though, may work against them. They're smoked out from Coffins and also CT side, looking for a boost. Exile's crossed into pool, but he's the most forward position right now for Gambit. Just shy of 30 seconds on the clock, and Gambit need to start getting some frags here. They need to start getting some wiggle room between themselves and their opponents. It's good 2 frags from the Farney. Box comes back, but there's Shiro. And although there's a couple banana peels there that were starting to open up for Nemiga, Gambit expertly navigated their way around them, and that will secure them their 7th.
Well, again, the SMGs at the B bomb site just not in good positions to take fights, especially against rifles. Part of that, of course, because of the 4-player stack in mid. And you were right. I mean, they kind of had the read. They knew what Gambit's response was going to be, but they couldn't get there quick enough to get in more solid positions. And once the smoke's clear, it's all the rifles. 2 kills on the Galil on Nafany, 1 kill on Shiro on the AK, and not a whole lot for Nemiga. So 7-11. Still an M4 on the board for the defense, but a tough position for Nemiga.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. This was the moment from the Farney's perspective. We did see it from Gio, who was trying desperately to boost over for some frags, but a good hold in the end from Gambit with these 2 save guns. Curious if Nemiga will go for any aggression. It's going to be a 3-2 stack in favor of the A sides. Nothing out of the ordinary here, at least. With an incendiary and a smoke, though, they do have a little bit of utility to buy up a bit of time for themselves. But Gambit slowing things down by and large on Banana, but they are playing an aggressive Hobbit up close with the MP9 in apps.
Might see that Lollipop and Hobbit battle that we've been flirting with in the early stages of this half. Lollipop trying to find the timing, also looking through Boiler towards brackets to see if anyone's wrapping behind him. He doesn't really have anyone to hold that off. Idis Balance just spotting for presence, but can do nothing to actually stop them. And Lollipop might get sandwiched. Here's the beginning of the mid-take. Good double kill. He peeked out. Hobbit comes in to save the day, finds the trade, and Exile gets a kill on the other side of the map. So all of a sudden, from a 5-on-3 to a 3-on-3 in the snap of a finger.
That's an outrageous double and spray transfer from Lollipop out of nowhere. Just explodes into the round, and now there's a chance for Nemiga, but they have lost that assault rifle. So a USP P250 and a UMP. 40 seconds to spare. Idis Balance would have to have the round of a lifetime with his P250 to hold this off by himself. Any kills would be huge, but he stumbled at the first hurdle, and it'll be Inters that starts to propel him towards the A side. Both of the remainder of Nemiga over on the Beeps play. They cannot stop this plant, and they more than likely cannot stop this 8th round from taking shape for Gambit. But again, you go back to that Lollipop play, Jason. I was beginning to believe. Imagine he picked up that 3rd frag and Boiler as well.
Yeah, that would have been great. But, I mean, that would have been an insane read considering the chaos he was in. Molotov also blocking his exit, so he couldn't get back through lane. And Exile going to try and protect some of the guns, but he's gotten there a little bit late. So 8th round for Gambit, and Nemiga get to walk away with 2 free rifles, which is going to be good because Idis Balance and JO just do not have a whole lot of money. That is 3 in a row after losing the pistol round for Gambit as they come storming back into this game.
A great takeout for the Nemiga, though, as you highlighted, because with the 2 save weapons, they can actually drop both these players. There is enough funds as well. Lollipop could go for Glass Cannon AWP and maybe drop that across the Idis Balance. I'm not sure how much they want to prioritize that AWP threat, though. Can be an absolute savior on the CT side, but they opt to not go for that. That does afford them more utility, of course, so understandable decision. But there's 2 save weapons. It does get them another buy.
Really passive towards Banana. Sorry, Vince.
No, it's all good. I was just going to say it's starting to heat up a little bit. You know, it's getting way closer. They're going to go for that bait and switch and a big frag from Lollipop.
Yeah, that's a good trade, but Idis Balance isn't going to be super happy about it. Double Molotov. Oh, he gets one in the flames before he goes down. Again, a heroic double kill from Lollipop in back-to-back rounds. And does Gambit really want to press the issue here? They've got 2 players ready to go up lane, 1 ready to come out halls as well, but it looks like they're going to back off. Exile's watching the flank to see if somebody's going to aggress from rap side, and it was almost there. But now if you're JO, you got to fall back to the B-bomb, so you got to respect the other side of the map just in case because your team hasn't no information. And at the moment, this Nemiga defense is all spread apart in a position where this is going to be all isolated fights. There's no way they can help each other out.
That's a really good point. They can divide and conquer here, Gambit. Now, Box is pushing down middle. That's a lot of information, but because they don't have eyes on Banana, it's not valuable intel. They can absolutely bank everything off. Now, surely they start to realize it. MDS perched at the back of the pit. Over on the mini side comes out, swings in, but Hobbit takes him out with the M4. It looked like he was actually going to drop into pit, but I think he jumped up on the railing first. It's a bit of parkour for the frag. And now Nemiga with Box and Geo, with not too much money surplus in, may feel compelled to go for this. Call will come through that Hobbit got dinked off that M4, and now the free frag from Box does come into fruition. That incendiary could very well finish off a very weakened Hobbit if he's not careful, and that forces him into an awkward angle here. Still plenty of time on the clock as well in terms of the bomb. Geo so nearly takes down Inters. That could have been the key back into this round and the clutch. Box trying to isolate with the smoke, divide the two of them, but Hobbit says no. Through the smoke he sprays. 11-9. They've bridged the gap to just 2.
That was a huge fight coming out of Halls onto MDS. And yeah, a good fight jumping up onto the railing. It's also timed with a grenade that not only does damage, but just messes with the vision, messes with the focus of MDS. And a really solidly played post plant. 11-9 for Nemiga. It's starting to slip away, and now it's their turn to prove if they've got the poise that we saw from Gambit in the first half, and even in the second half coming out of a pistol round loss. Eagles picked up upgraded pistols, some armor, not a whole lot of utility for the defensive side, but Lollipop still on fire in holes.
Man, someone needs to douse off the flames. He has been so good. I think he was 6-0 at one point as well, right at the beginning of the game. If he did just catch the live action here, Nemiga won both pistol rounds, put the pressure on, and there's another one, Deke. This time it's on Box. Inters get splattered down on Banana. What an opener for Nemiga. This is a dream start into the round.
Yeah, well, now they need to close it out. It's still not easy. And they're taking a big risk stacking 4 players over towards the A bomb site. You've got a 5-on-3. And you're leaving just 1 defender at this B bomb site. So some faith, he does have a smoke. So they're relying on him to be able to get the spot and block it off. But look at him holding his nerve as the only defender here. That's wild. And they might just go through this. Nafany's going to use it to get into position. Box is looking for this exact play. Can he find it is the question. Nerve-wracking, and there it is. Now an AK. Now he's going to return fire through the smoke, and he's not landing any kills. He eventually goes down, but Gambit's not going to want to press the issue.
Decide to push onto the site right now. They know they're going to be getting rotated and flanked into play, so a post plant does afford them a couple more luxuries. It turns the attention with 20 seconds to go. So post plant comes in, the AWP of Shiro and Axal together, a duo of destruction, very capable of clutching this round, but the first piece has fallen, and Idis Balance with the Deagle comes through and sticks to the landing for a second time. An unbelievable turnaround from Nemiga with Deagle.
That's an incredible round from Box. All on your own. I mean, you know it. Your team's already called out. We're stacking A. We're going to retake B if they go there. Box, you're on your own. Plays with his own smoke just perfectly. Incredible stuff. This was the opening shot, the opening kill from Lollipop. And Box as well.
Nemiga showing us right now, Jason, they are absolutely no joke, and this is why we say the CIS region is stacked with talent. Even a team that on paper should have no hope at even getting close in this game. And yet, look at the scoreline, look at how these rounds have been coming down. And you said the key word there is that poise. How do they deal when their backs are against the wall? We saw Gambit always behind. They're starting to breathe down next to Nemiga. Well, they just need the Eagles. They can still come out swinging and claim those heads.
That's a nice thing to have, but I mean, if you're an Nemiga, you still haven't proved that you can win a rifle on rifle round. You know, like you're going to have to win some of those down the stretch to be able to close this map out. Another chance here off the back of that Deagle win. I think they won 2 force buys or save rounds, whatever you want to call them, in the first half. They've now won their first with Deagles here in the second half. So, I mean, in that sense, in the economy sense, they're winning some of these low buys. They've gotten 3 to 4 rounds off of it, which is a huge recipe to be able to steal a map away. But now they got to close it. Pop Flash coming in, Box with the peek. Pulls out a nade, and Idis Balance, at the moment, is not involved in the action. Box is doing everything, and he does fall. There's Jo for the trade, and Banana control to Nemiga. But look at the lurk from Nafany.
Oh, this is massive. I think they may have a good idea to this coming up. They're going to play now, posted it in the mini pit. I think he may have just been caught briefly from the Nefani. Now he definitely has. Haircut administered across MD. Yes, Nefani tries to get it for two, but it's that man. It's Lollipop. And he continues to twist the knife in the back of Gambit. He's finally been plucked out by Shiro, but the damage has surely been done. Shiro 1v2 has the opportunity to go for the plant with about 10 seconds left, but he is being flanked out from Apps. This position is so huge from Geo. If you're Shiro, you probably anticipate middle. You probably don't anticipate death from above, and it's Geo the Estonian that reigns supreme, but another massive round from Lollipop.
Yeah, I mean, and it's nothing crazy. It is just solid play from Lollipop so far on the CT side, and there it is. First gun round victory for Nemiga in this second half. Look at the money all of a sudden, Vince, on that CT side. They're going to have to spend a decent amount of it to get back into this next round to kind of gear everyone up across the whole team, but iDisbalance started with $11,000 before they bought. So they've got a decent amount of cash down the stretch. For Gambit, 2 AKs, 2 MAC-10s, Exile on a Tech 9.
Oh, they want to get aggressive. It's a 2-for-1, and the hate behind it. It's one tag 3 players with that shot. He nearly got the triple stack. A 1v2 comes in. Hobbit with the smoke just to extinguish the Molotov and keep himself alive. He's juggling weapons, and that smoke, fortunately, actually shields him from the aggression of both Lollipop and MDS, but he has an idea that this could be coming into play. Fakes as if he goes to the site. The problem is with the AWP, once he takes that first shot and Loic, he likely gets fragged, and Lollipop doing his due diligence, checking his angles, shuts him down.
I'm not sure you'd ever expect both to be there, even if you were able to get that first one. Good peek from iDisbalance. Yeah, tags a third as well. The nade to clean him up. A nice double kill. And Shiro brought very low, 14-9. But because that was a calculated buy based off spawns, a fast play to try and catch Nemiga off guard at the B bomb site, they didn't invest everything they had in that round, which allows them to buy 3 AKs, a Galil, and a Deagle in this round. Plenty of utility as well for Gambit. But man, now it's starting to look a little bit sketchy. 14-9. Gambit staring at a map 1 loss at the moment.
Oh, that flash. The utility on both sides has been so good for Nemiga. Whether it's clearing out angles on the T side on top banana, or indeed just getting aggressive here on the CT side. And we said earlier that Deagle round came out of nowhere. It was an uppercut. Well, now they've also proven they've got some combos, Jason. They can win the Deagle rounds. They can win the rifle rounds. Gambit, as you said, in real trouble, and losing Exile, one of their big hitters, their heavy hitters, one of their X factors. That's not going to spell too much success here. Geo at least gets flashed out, but there's an incendiary straight down. They push in an angle we haven't really seen Nemiga use just yet. Will yield 2 for box, and he has a smoke to extinguish. It's not an ideal smoke, runs out of ammunition, and Hobbit's there for the counter. Post plant will be coming in.
Yeah, I think he was fine with the smoke. He wasn't fine with not enough bullets in the chamber or in the mag. Here we go, 3-on-2 retake. Nemiga trying to get to 15, trying to get to map point. They've got 2 Molotovs to work with. The Molotov for this exact position. If iDisbalance can just keep Shiro pinned down while Lollipop throws the molly. Here it comes. Shiro gonna have to go for a peek. If it extend, it does. He's burning. He's got a chance. But Lollipop has been so good. And it looks like Nemiga should be able to close out the round, and they will. 15 for the defense.
Oh, they're cutting it super close, but they should about have this, I think. No.
Oh, no.
No, a millisecond to go. I thought they had that round in the back.
I was so certain. I'm not going to lie. I was so certain he had that round. Oh, no. Gambit gets a gift.
Oh, they will feel very fortunate to take that round, all things considered. But again, it's some exquisite rifle work. But Gambit, fair play. They stood tall. I thought when that Molotov extended on the new box there for Shiro, I thought it was over. As good as Hobbit is, as good as he's been lately at the Blast Premier, obviously getting the MVP, only 1 kill, but it proved to just be in the nick of time. And now a timeout has been deployed. 10-14 the score.
That's a small thing. I mean, you can see a little head shake there. Those are the rounds that really are at risk of just throwing you into tilt. Even though you're Nemiga and you're on the verge of taking map 1, you have a 4-round lead. A round like that where you feel like you played it so well, where you got so close only to have it stripped away, those are the ones that sometimes just throw you off into outer space, make you lose just a little bit of focus. So time to dig deep for Nemiga. And Gambit. They've spent everything into this round, both sides on the verge of a save. This is a massive round. I mean, off the back of this round, Nemiga could likely close out this map, or Gambit could find a way to get right back into it and just be what, you could be sitting at 13-14 when all is said and done if you can force an eco out of Nemiga.
This is where you need to find that grit. It's deep in there. Great flash again. Not yielding the frag this time, though. A more passive angle for Axel. Could use the alcove as a bit of sanctuary. Losing 38 HP, but no early casualties. Gambit have lost a lot of players early on. The fact they still have 5 is great news for them, albeit with 4 Galils.
The pop flash plays in Banana have been spectacular for Nemiga. They've been doing such a great job. Not sure what the tells have been for Jo in that position, but whatever it has been, he's done a great job throughout this half. Balance going to get smoked off and rotate around the arches. A new angle as Gambit starts taking control. Oh, and they're just going to jump across. They're going to risk it, and it pays off. Now they're trying to attack into the AWP. And Balance is under so much pressure, but he's got Jo here, who hears all these footsteps. That should be a freebie. He holds his trigger, almost gets caught, but he's got the second half of this attack stuck in CT spawn. This B-split has gone to hell, and Gambit's got to claw their way out of it.
They've only got 17 seconds in which to do it. Gio's been put down. Shiro doesn't have a safe angle, but now the Hobbits came to the forefront. He may very well get just enough time for this plant and survives, lives to tell the tale. They may think he's back on new box. The smoke affords him a little bit of luxury, but they're getting pushed in. HG takes him from downtown, and this time there is more than enough time for the defuse. Nemiga will have 5 map points.
Oh, that is so great. That could have been such a tough round to handle. Well done from Jo, coming all the way back to CT spawn to handle that. And even when the plant goes down, you could see Nemiga turning the corner. They know where it had been planted. They knew where Shiro could go. He could be second oranges or he could be a new boxer. That's it. Those are the only 2 places he could have gone. And good placement of the utility, and that's a 5-round lead for Nemiga.
Look at this nightmare, hellish situation economically as well, Jason, to save the map. And you have a Scout, a Mac-10, and a Galil.
Yeah, and even that Galil feels like it was bought like reluctantly at the end of freeze time. He was like, maybe we need a little bit more flashes. I should go Deagles. And there's a nice pick from Balance. AWP deep down mid. Another opening kill for the defense.
Smoke down onto middle, but the Farney with a Mac-10 may want to just spice things up, get a bit more aggressive, pushes through the smoke, knowing that a Hail Mary play may be what gets Gambit into the stretch into overtime. But these positions looking so good from Nemiga, double stacked rifles on the site. They've given up a lot of control as a result, even with 5 players. This affords them to stack 3 players over on B, but now Box is rotating back over on A side.
Jumping into pit. Lollipop has spotted it. As we know, he's been excellent. His teammate goes down. Nobody to keep space for Lollipop. Box gets there just at the right moment. Scout doing some work, but Hobbit's got a wide angle. And Lollipop, by the pressure, was flushed out into the open. And oh no, Gambit looks like they bought themselves another chance. 3-on-2 as the bomb gets planted. Here comes Jo, feeling good. Wants to make a play, and he's got the first. Can't find anything after that, and Hobbit is just going to run away and survive for the moment.
It's balanced against the weakened Hobbit. That Deagle could stick the landing still. This round may have another chapter to be etched in by Balance. Pushing the smoke. But there's Hobbit, flicks onto his head. And they will buy themselves a little bit of a lifeline here, Jason. The economy of Nemiga now is struggling.
Yeah, I think if you're an Nemiga here, you take a timeout, you talk things over, and you just wait, and you say, we've got so much to play with. Yeah, keep in mind, I completely forgot. That's how that round started. That round was a 4-on-5 for Gambit that they still won. Nice little play out of Halls, no defense inside the pit, and some good trades into the bomb site. I think here is Nemiga, you've got 4 chances, 4 rounds to play with. You've got no economy. I think you just make sure your next buy is the best one it possibly can, even if it means saving 2.
Nice balance hearing the pitter-patter of footsteps may get aggressive. We've already seen that the deagle work from Nemiga is second to none. Nidus Balance is having more opportunities. I thought he actually landed that second 1-dig for a moment, but he gets funneled away from Inters and his rifle. And that could be the end of the dangers and the threats, as Gambit do have a player advantage against a very weakened Purchase.
That push down mid should set off alarm bells to Hobbit, though. If someone's pushing down mid, you kind of realize they have information. They know that, things were relatively clear. That could be some aggression, and Halls is up next, and he's very aware of the possibility. Gets dinked. Fortunate to win the fight, but didn't get caught off guard. That's the important part. Here comes utility towards wrap side of the A bomb site. Gambit going to start pushing up, seeing if there's any reaction in brackets. You could see Shiro fell back with that AWP. He's just looking for someone pushing down Banana that's going to go for a flank. And they're taking all their time safely, doing away with all the weapons, making sure they don't allow Nemiga to have any advantages, anything positive moving forward. They don't want these 2 players to be able to find an AK-47 when the round is over.
You can see the Galil on top of the roof. And now Gambit doing their due diligence, just making sure that the site is clear. Making sure there is no potential ninja positions in from Nemiga. Lollipop and Geo both saving on the other side of the map, with lack of Purchase looking like it's coming up on the horizon. They do well to save this CZ Deagle and the Kevlar, but it's a pretty sad state of affairs, and that's the best case scenario. They still have 3 more cracks at finishing this map off, but it's unlikely it'll happen in the next one because I don't really see them having too much of a Purchase to play behind.
Yeah, that money's not going to be fun to work with. Maybe a nade stack, chuck some nades down mid. Doesn't work too much these days. $1,900 losing bonus for Nemiga going into the next round. So, yeah, not a whole lot. Boxes is going to be at 3,000. Nidus Balance 3,700. So certainly should be a save or a very light investment. I have to say as well, I didn't catch when this exactly started, but you could say that this kind of a bit of a comeback in this second half from Gambit. Hobbit's really started to have much more of an impact moving forward. At one point in this game, in this second half, he was stuck down at 5 kills, and that's not everything, but certainly the fact that he's been able to get himself up to 18, he's really contributed a lot to the fragging department. That's helped them close this gap. As you said, 3 more chances for Nemiga. Nidus Balance trying some mid-aggression again for a peek towards ult, and that's not going to happen. There's another kill for Hobbit. And Nemiga looks like they're ready for this round to be over.
He's really shone as well, Jason, when it's come down to those sort of nitty-gritty 2v2, 3v3s, like when they've got these rounds out of nowhere and the Farney's pushed through smoke and then Hobbit's just there to clean up with 2 or 3 frags. So he's really come alive. I completely agree in those rounds where it really matters. And now Gambit looking to get aggressive. Now they are walking into 2 players with pistols by their side, including Box alongside JO's CZ, and he's posted up on the box. He has the Kevlar. If he can remove the head of the Farney quickly, things could get interesting. Smoke down. They're not sure as to where that second player is, but because they have 50 seconds to go, they don't have to fully commit behind this. The box gets greedy. JO with 1, traded back out again. MDS, who was thinking for the re-rotation, now has to go back over on the B side, has a Deagle by his side. No real reason to try and save onto this, so he may as well just have a closed mind and just go in here and swing out the haymakers, see what sticks. HE, big dig though onto Hobbit, but it is going to be going the way of Gambit.
That's a nice shot. Good patience as well from Gambit. Slowly walking and backing out of that choke point at the B bomb site. Just protecting the weapon and getting a couple easy kills that allow them to march right in. Here we go. This is a big round, and all that money that was being saved up by Nemiga, they don't put it into utility. They put it into a double op setup. One at JO over at the B bomb site, one on iDisturbed, going to be at the A bomb site as well. Only 3 smokes to work with, though, for this whole round. So if Gambit can avoid getting picked off and they play it slow, they might have some advantages later on, although they don't know that quite yet.
Yeah, Precisely. Maybe walking into that double up stack and not realizing it till it's too late. We can at least see the inroads and the potential winding road back into an overtime situation here. Exile taking the initiative, getting up close, maybe waiting for that pop flash that we've seen so often from Nemiga. But because they've gone for that double up, they don't want to play too aggressive, so that won't be coming in. Just clearing these angles. Molotov towards sandbags affords them top banana control, but this is where, Jason, that secondary op may very well just get a pick.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't get a pick, it's going to be blocked off by that smoke. And then all of a sudden, what does the op do? Really relying on Box to be able to get a kill if they're coming in on this boost position, even rotating into the bomb site. Again, you're going to get blocked off. Smokes, Molotovs, flashbangs, although Gambit doesn't have a full kit of utility for a full-blown B-exec, so the op may actually have more impact than I thought, but there's the pop flash. Unexpected. Exile's got the first. Box drops. He needs two, and he's got it. I Disturbed with the AWP is here, but misses a chance on the cross. This is going to be a tough retake, and no kits for Nemiga.
Yeah, this is where going for that extra firepower on the second AWP could come full circle. 3v3, though, still puts them in an opportunity, but because of Hobbit's position up middle, they know all three players must be bottlenecking. One-dimensional back on towards the site. Lollipop aggression through, gets the frag onto Shiro, but in a counter-frag from Inter, who's stuck at the back of the site, he needs to have big impact, and he is going to pass with flying colors. Another 2 frags, and Gambit have bridged the gap. They're 1 away from overtime.
Yeah, they are, and they've got a big advantage in this round. They've got all the weapons. Nemiga, you're going to have the utility you didn't have in the previous round on a few players, but to get that, you're going to have to drop down to SMGs. You could see all the players who picked up FAMAS don't really have, well, actually, excuse me, Box just kind of buys up at the end. So decent utility. I take it all back. 15-14, but certainly weaker weapons for the defense.
Yes, that is the sacrifice. Utility or firepower. You can't have both right now, Nemiga. So yes, they get that utility, but in the longer engagements, it could very well factor in Gambit's favor, or perhaps not. JO doubles up HE and FAMAS, and he sends Gambit packing from Banana.
Well, now it's going to tap Hobbit to start moving up and be a bit more aggressive earlier than he would have liked to. He's going to see if there's anything, if anyone is going to make a mistake and just walk right into his crosshair. Lollipop with the Molotov, going to drop it in towards lane. You can see the defense feels this A-hit coming, dumping utility to slow things down, do some early damage. Flashbangs don't work. Oh, and Lollipop aggression, double kill. He's going to close it out as he's done so well in that second half. 16-14 for Nemiga. Ooh, and that's crushing for Gambit after a comeback.
That's absolutely catastrophic. Gambit fought tooth and nail to bring it back, and I thought they were going to do it, Jason. I thought this is where the experience or lack thereof for Nemiga may very well catch them. That round that you talked about where they get tilted, they don't get the defuse with a couple of milliseconds left. I thought it was going to catch up with them, but all the credit in the world to Nemiga to hold your resolve, to take the first map, and it's Inferno. You now join a list of very high-level teams that have beat Gambit on this map, and for the most part, they've had their way with everybody.
Yeah, it's a very, very good map for Gambit, obviously. So that's a big time win on the opening map of this series. It also opens up the opportunity to take this in 2. We've got Vertigo next, which is another good map for Gambit, so not going to be easy, but the opportunity is there, and that would be a stunning way to start the StarLadder RMR. Either way, we'll find out how that one's going to go when we return from the break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Да, мы заняли несвойственное, мне кажется, для себя место. Мы в поисках своей оптимальной игры. По-любому это влияет, что у вас новый игрок. Я думаю, Артем уже достаточно долгое количество времени в команде, чтобы мы сыгрались, чтобы это не оказывало такое большое влияние на результат. По крайней мере, мы сделаем все, чтобы наша команда туда вышла, а смогут увидеть или нет, это уже будет зависеть от того, как мы сыграем. Кусок проделанной работы в последние 2 месяца очень большой. Хочется надеяться, что это даст свой результат в определенный момент. Да нет, мы никому больше всего не готовились. Мы знаем свою группу, знаем, с кем будем играть, знаем стиль игры наших соперников. Мы посмотрим какие-то игры, сделаем какие-то выводы, будем идти от игры к игре и постепенно. Поэтому больше, меньше. Для нас все соперники будут одинаковые на этом турнире, и готовиться мы будем ко всем одинаково.